Hello everyone, Dave Collins coming to you from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. I'm here in my clinic office and I wanted to take the next few moments to share with you a little bit of training. A lot of you who know who I am might expect that it might be on Ganoderma as a healthcare practitioner, but that's not the case. To set this up a little bit, it's exactly 1 week ago today that I was in San Antonio, Texas at the Project 50 convention, and I was there with a number of people from our team, and we absolutely loved it. Were inspired and had a lot of great experiences. And one of the great experiences that we had was that about midway through the convention, among 8 to 10,000 people that were there, we were among a small group, maybe 12 to 20 of us, that were whisked away to a boardroom, and we got some really special training from Shane Moran. So we felt privileged and honored to be able to share a little time with him, and he shared with us some refinements in regards to one of the lifeblood sources of our business. Okay, so the next few minutes, what we're going to be speaking about is this: coffee jazz mixers, not Ganoderma, coffee jazz mixers. So the reason that I'm putting this video together is that we've received some really great information, and he shared it with us. Now it's our job to share it with you. So in putting this video together, now I'm going to share with you some of the things that we learned, and what I want you to do is take a notepad and take a pen and take some real good notes, and then you in turn can share this with your team. This business is about people helping people, and as you build an organization, you want to be able to pass down through the funnel information that's going to help them in their business, in which turn it helps you too. So to kind of get your mind set properly for what some of the first things are that you have to do to get a coffee jazz mixer to be effective and efficient. And let's face it, if you're going to do this business full time, or you're going to do it part time, 2, 3, 4 coffee jazz mixers a day is often very common. And you can't be doing 4 a day, or even 2 or 3, if they're 2 hours each. So Shane says if it takes you longer than what it takes to drink 1 cup of coffee, then your coffee jazz mixer is too long. So in theory, that's basically what we're trying to do is accomplish a coffee jazz mixer in under 45 minutes. Maybe 30 is a good way to go with this as well too. But we need to get things efficient. We need to get them refined. We need to get them more effective. So there's basically 4 things that I want to cover today. Before I get into them, before I get to number 1, let's just think about what needs to happen in order for an effective coffee jazz mixer. One is you have to book your coffee jazz mixer, and the other is you have to have an effective setup. Okay? So you must take a calendar and you must book your coffee jazz mixer. All right, I recommend that you get the calendar from Organo Gold. Lots of advantages and features in this that are really effective. But you might think that a coffee jazz mixer is nice. You might plan on having it someday. You may talk about it a lot, but it just doesn't happen unless you book it. Book it, circle it, write it in your book. That's when you're having your coffee jazz mixer. Now you have something to BAM-FAM people. Book a meeting from a meeting, right? So unless it's booked in there, unless you take it from your mind and put it onto paper, it will not happen. I guarantee you that. So you're not anywhere. Now, booking it means from there, you've got the plan. Now you have to invite. Okay? So, hi John, it's Dave here. You're never going to guess, I just opened up a gourmet healthy coffee business. It's an online business. Tonight at 7 o'clock, I'm giving away some samples to a few people. Can you be there? How simple is that? Hi Tom, I came across an amazing opportunity. I don't have time to get into the details, but I would like to go through it with you. Can you pop by my place tomorrow night at 7 o'clock? So it all depends whether it's a coffee drinker or somebody that you think might be open to an opportunity. It's a very short invite. Be in a hurry, show value, take it away. Holton Bucks. So this booking and inviting is your first step into the coffee jazz mixer. The second is that you've got to be aware of some of the things that are important aspects of the setup. Okay, so what are we doing? We're selling product. We have beautiful product with amazing packaging. So what you want to do is have an effective product display, right? So this doesn't really involve anything too fancy. It's just about setting up your product in a way that looks very, very appealing. Be proud of your product. Set it up nice. What are we doing here? We're doing coffee jazz mixers. What does jazz mean? Well, we're trying to make it social. We're trying to make it inviting. So have a little music in the background. You know, set the stage effectively for your coffee jazz mixer. What's another important thing? Our dress. Now, you'll notice I'm not wearing a three-piece suit. You know, that would be a little bit much. And you don't want to do that for your coffee jazz mixer, as you know, in most cases anyway. But consider how most people are going to show up to the coffee jazz mixer and just dress one notch above them. All right, so ladies, you don't want to necessarily look like you just came off the farm, or ladies, you don't want to necessarily look like you just are on your way downtown to go out on the town and go dancing and dinner and all that kind of stuff. But you want to look like you're professional. And gentlemen, the same way. You don't want to necessarily show up as a presenter with jeans and a t-shirt and a ball cap on. You know, even if it's an OG ball cap, you know, your attire has to really, really, you know, step it up a little bit. So be a professional and have people look at you and see that you're serious about your business, you're a professional about your business, and that you're proud of the business that you do. So product display, music, dress, a couple other things that are important is accessories. Okay, so that's what I'm going to call them. I'll explain. I've been to a couple coffee jazz mixers where, oh, I forgot the milk, I forgot the cream, I forgot the sugar, I forgot the stir sticks. These are all important things for your coffee jazz mixer. You know, some people don't necessarily have their coffee in the form of a latte or a mocha, and when they drink their black, they want just sugar. Do we have a product with just sugar? No. Do we have a product with just cream? No. So you have to be able to accommodate people and let them have the accessories they need for their coffee to dress it up the way they want to, based on what they're used to. We are selling, okay? We are going to sell some product. We are going to need some money for some float. So let's say you sell a box of coffee for, you know, $30, and somebody gives you a $50. What are you going to do? Do you have float? Some people are even leasing a POS machine that's wireless. It goes with them. They can take a credit card. And now with the iPhone, you can even get an attachment where you can take a credit. Now, I'm not trying to make this complicated. I'm not suggesting everybody go out there and be prepared to take debit transactions. But we're in business, and it all depends on who you're dealing with and how big you're growing your business. These are some important considerations. And the last thing that I'll say, and it's not necessarily the least, make sure your environment is clean. Make sure that it's not disorganized, and make sure that it's not so distracting. It should be neat and tidy. You don't have to renovate your house. I'm not saying that. Just make sure that it looks and feels professional to the people that are there. So keep these few little ideas in mind when it comes to, first of all, booking it. Put it on paper. Take it from your mind. Put it on your calendar. Get your invites out. Make sure that you're prepared. You know, with setting up your coffee jazz mixer effectively. All right. So let's get into the different steps. All right. So the first step of the coffee jazz mixer involves the introduction and the presentation. Okay, write this down. Number one is the introduction and the presentation of your coffee jazz mixer. Okay, the second part is STP. Right? How many times have you heard that? You're going to show the plan. We're going to break these down. And then the third part is to close your coffee jazz mixer. Now that's basically, you know, the different parts of your coffee jazz mixer, and then we're going to just touch a little bit on something called the evolution of your CJM. Okay? Really, really important. This business is all about creating a business that becomes independent from you at some point in time. All right? So these are the different parts of your coffee jazz mixer. The intro and presentation, show the plan, close. We're also going to talk a little bit later about the evolution of the coffee jazz mixer. Okay? So let's just remove a couple of these things here off the list, and let's get right into it. The first person that's involved in this coffee jazz mixer is the host. Okay? Hostess with the mostest. So what are they going to do? They are going to get everything started. People are there, the setup is just perfect, and now everybody's waiting with anticipation as to what's going to happen next. What the host does is he introduces himself, okay? So he does an intro. And in that intro, he tells his story. All this is going to happen quick. Try to keep it in, 1 to 2 minutes in all seriousness. So the intro basically is a welcome, okay? Run out of room. A welcome, not thank you. Now let's just make a side point here. This was shared by Shane Moran. It makes 100% sense to me. The host introduces the Coffee Jazz Mixer by providing a welcome. He doesn't thank people for coming. The edification in thanking somebody goes to the guest presenter. It's the guest presenter that's got the opportunity. Do the guests have an opportunity to share? No. They're on the receiving end of it. So the host may begin the Coffee Jazz Mixer by saying, I'd like to welcome everybody for coming here. He can even congratulate people for coming here. Congratulate you for changing all the things in your life that you may have had to change to be here tonight. And welcome, right? My story is that I do this and that for a living. He's going to talk about the disadvantages of it. And then there's 2 basic contents to his story. And number 1 is YOG and Y network marketing, right? So talk about how much he loves the product, and also talk about what he sees in the business model that Organogold works on. And that basically provides the introduction. Then the next thing he's going to do is he's going to introduce the guest speaker, and he's going to edify the guest speaker. Why? Why edify? Edification is critical. And if we've got somebody that's just going to introduce the guest speaker and say, well, I'd just like to introduce you to Mark. Well, everybody's sitting on the end of their chair going, what's Mark got? But if we edify, we lift up, we create credibility, we say positive things. Now we've got people that are really anxious to hear about what the guest presenter's got to say. So edification is important, and we thank the guest presenter for coming. We thank the guest presenter for giving us the opportunity. The host is going to say, I really thank, our guest presenter for sharing this opportunity with me. We feel it's going to mean a lot for our family in the future, and we'd like to thank him for coming and sharing this information with you. Okay? So this is part of the introduction, right? This is the host. That takes about 60 seconds, and then what happens is that the guest presenter comes, and he really is the one that takes control of this Coffee Jazz Mixer. So the guest presenter is going to do his own introduction, okay, by telling his story, okay, and that's a very important part of the beginning of this event for the guest presenter. And when he tells his story, he also is going to set up and create the flow of the CJM. What do I mean by that? People like to be moved along in a conversation or in an event or in some type of activity. And what the guest presenter is going to do is say, this is what's going to happen. And people are like, okay, well, what's going to happen? So he's going to create the anticipation and the expectation. And the guest presenter does 2 things. He says, can everybody boil hot water? And everybody's going to say yes. And can everybody press play on a video? And everybody's going to say yes. And that's what the presenter's going to do. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, everybody. We're going to boil hot water, pour hot water, and we're going to press play on a video. Shane Moran said that saying those things are important because the people that are there that are going to be looking and evaluating this opportunity will then automatically, whether it's on a conscious or subconscious level, see how simple that this whole process is. And so at this particular point, this is the key. This is the the time when the host is making sure that everybody's getting hot water and the coffee and tea products. Okay, so it's a joint effort between the host and between the guest presenter. And so by this point, everybody should have coffee and tea products in their cup and sipping it and enjoying it. All right, so just before we press play. Okay, so the flow of the CJM is boil hot water. So HT, H2O, okay, and then PP. Press play. All right. So just before the video happens, the guest presenter says, there's going to be some questions afterwards. I'm going to answer those. And just keep a couple things in mind when you're watching the video and you're seeing what this product is, what this company is. We're looking for 3 categories of people. We're looking for persons who are going to become our customers. This is the foundation of this whole business and this whole company. It's the foundation of, the host's business is having customers. And if you like what you taste, and if you like the way it makes you feel, if you like what you see, maybe you'll become a customer. Would you be willing to change your brand of coffee from what you're drinking now to support the host and to enjoy something that has greater value, we feel, in its health? Number 1, would you be a customer? Number 2, would you be interested in finding out how you get your product for free? Because that's possible. And number 3, is it possible you also might be interested or open to an income opportunity or business opportunity? Okay, so you're looking for 3 people. 1, the customer. 2, the free product. And 3, an income. We're getting low here. Okay, so you're setting that up in their mind. Now they're thinking. So let's press play in the video. Everybody's watching the video. And what are you doing as the host? You're watching the video too. Are you tending to all the stuff around you, the house, the cat, the dog? I can guarantee you, if the host is not paying attention to the video, his guests are not paying attention to the video as well too. And what I've seen happen numerous times is that if I was the host and I just took my attention off of the video, everybody else's attention goes off of the video as well too. You want them paying attention? You pay attention yourself. What about the guest presenter? What he's doing? He is analyzing the group. He's identifying who's into this and who's not into this. He's noticing the person that's checking the time, or maybe making a text, or looking at the ceiling, or tapping their foot, or he's looking at the person who's on the edge of their seat. Can't wait to see what next comes in the video. So remember, he's the person that's going to be working this room, and so it's important for the guest presenter to be making those observations. So the video has played, and now at the end, there's going to be a couple of questions that can be entertained, and the host will say, "What number do you think you are? Remember, are you interested in being a customer of ours? Is it possible you might be interested in getting your product for free? Or is it also possible that you're interested in maybe evaluating or looking into at least the opportunity with Organic Gold?" So the first thing we're going to do is take care of the number 1s. This is where the host becomes very much involved. Okay, so the people that are customers, they raise their hand, and so we say, okay, perfect, great, thank you very much, you're going to be our customer now, and the host is going to take care. What would you like? How much coffee do you drink a day? How much do you drink a month? How much coffee is consumed in your house? They may walk out with 2 or 3 boxes of coffee. So that's important. Shane Moran made another important point. Everybody that walks into your home that's a coffee and tea consumer walks out of your home with a box of coffee. That must happen. You're in business to sell the coffee. You're not in business to let those people go and not consume your coffee and then go purchase coffee from another coffee company. Right? So your goal is to make sure everybody walks out of that house with a cup, with a box of your coffee. And maybe they'll never like it again. Right? Maybe they won't come back. Doesn't matter. Most people will, because our coffee tastes amazing and makes us feel really, really good as well too in a lot of different ways. So that's number 1. While the group number 1 is being taken care of by the host, the guest presenter, they take care of category number 2 and category number 3. So we move to a different part of the table, or we move to a different part of the room, or we just head to a different part of the room altogether. And this is where we get into number 2, and that is to show the plan. All right? So what's going to happen at this particular point in time is you paint a vision. You paint the picture of where this is going. All right? So you get back into your story just a little bit. A year ago, if you had asked me what it is that I do, I would have told you I was a healthcare provider. Today, I opened up a business a year ago that is a distribution and marketing business in conjunction with a Canadian-based company where we move healthy gourmet coffee to end-line consumers to people in 35 countries. We started with our backyard in Charlottetown. We started with Prince Edward Island, and we're still looking for people to help us create market value with our healthy coffee and create market presence. And we're looking for business partners like you, people who are open to a business opportunity, or people like me who have learned the system can teach it to you and work with you, where you can actually be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And then from there, it's never about where, it's always about who, and where your business may take you anywhere in the world, anywhere in Canada. Today I have 6 or 7 states in the US where I do business, 12 of the provinces in Canada, and even a territory and about 3 different countries. So you paint the vision of where it is that what you've accomplished or where you're planning on going, so that they know you have got a goal, and so that you're going somewhere and they want to go with you. That's painting the vision. So now you want to show the plan, okay? So it's important to have a flip chart. I think you can use a laptop, but again, this is just so duplicatable. And this doesn't take long. You should whiz through this very, very quickly. And so when my wife and I looked at this business opportunity, we felt very strongly that it was the right business at the right time. Okay? And it's partly because it involves 4 of the fastest growing industries. It involves the internet, home-based business, health and wellness, and coffee. Let's talk a little bit about coffee. It's consumed at the rate of 1.6 billion cups a day. It's the second most consumed beverage in the world next to water. It's the second most traded commodity in the world next to oil. These are really important facts about coffee and the timing. I mean, now coffee has strength like it's never had before. Why would McDonald's turn themselves into a coffee business, right? Because coffee is big money. And coffee also maintains itself through a recession. 20 years ago, do you think you would have thought of McDonald's as a burger? It was a burger joint. Would you have thought of it as a coffee company? No, but it is. So that tells you about the power and the strength of the coffee industry. And Starbucks has made it socially acceptable to pay $5 for a cup of coffee. So looking at the opportunity with OrganoGold, what is it that makes our coffee a better choice? What gives it the value? And it's because of a very powerful ingredient called Ganoderma. And the Ganoderma is a nutritional that adds so much value to the coffee, makes people feel well, it takes the acidity out of coffee. I'm not going to get into too much of the details that Dr. Dave might, but the point is that there's a lot of nutritional value that's infused into our coffee, and in the coffee is a delivery mechanism for the value of that herb. They're a company that's really prepared for future growth worldwide. This is partly why they're able to open up in so many countries, because they're prepared for it. $240 million plant where they infuse the Ganoderma into the coffee, and look at all the different stamps of approval that they have. Good manufacturing practices and organic certification, and other certifications necessary for other international countries. This is our product lineup, and it's just expanded into K-Cups. And the other thing that was really valuable to me was to see that there are people that are steering the ship in the right direction. 3 people who are kind of humorously referred to as the 3 amigos. They are very much invested in this company, and they are leading it down a path to amazing success. And what they've accomplished now is not to be argued with, right? So there's no convincing about what these gentlemen have done with the direction of this company, right? So this is as far as you go with showing the plan at this point. And remember, you're showing this to group 2 and 3. 1 has long gone. They've already bought the product. They're at the door and they're going to enjoy it, and then the host is going to follow up with them and sell them more coffee, or hopefully get them to purchase it online. You're dealing with the 2s and the 3s. So what do you want to do now? You want to identify, you want to take your attention to group 2. And so you are interested in how you could get your product for free. And there's 2 basic ways you can do that. As a customer, you can just go online and go to my online website and purchase the product at a preferred retail price. And here's the interesting thing. It's your job, it's my job to get you to show you where to get the coffee as a preferred customer on my website, but it's OrganoGold's job to keep you. And so what they do is they have value in sharing. So all you need to do is refer 3 people to the website, and if they purchase coffee, then OrganoGold keeps track of that and gives you free coffee, right? So McDonald's has buy 7 get 8 free. Tim Hortons has roll up the rim. That's how they provide value. We provide value to the coffee market by health, and then also you can get free product. So that makes sense, does it not? The second way is a little different. You purchase like a Costco membership. It's $49, and then you decide how much coffee it is you need for your own personal use and that of your family. And so let's say there's a husband and a wife. You drink on average 2 cups of coffee a day. That's 4. 30 days in a month. That's 120. That's 4 boxes of coffee. Then what you would do is that you would double that and add 1, and then just by sharing with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, you would sell them a box of coffee at a retail price, and the profits that you make from that gives you your coffee for free. So that's a little bit about how you get the value of free coffee by sharing, either by referring or actually providing and actually making some money in your hand to get your product for free. So now you're going to turn your attention to group 3. And the interesting thing about this whole scenario is that you don't let group 2 go, because group 2 had enough ambition to think about how to get the product for free that maybe something will resonate with them as we talk to the third group. So as far as the third group is concerned, this is where you give them your attention. And so you'll point out to the third group that there are 8 ways to get paid. And what we'll do is we'll just briefly review the first 3, okay? The retail, the fast track bonus, and the dual team. So I don't need to go through all of those, but that's the process. And then you can say, there's other ways to get paid, but I won't get into an explanation of that anyway, because these ways are automatic, and these ways happen when you actually start making some money, and after a few months into the business, you start getting paid from numerous different ways. So the first 3 are basically commissions, and the other ways to get paid are bonuses, right? So people are used to hearing payment is commission and payment as a bonus. So there's commissions and bonuses. The only 3 that you need to be concerned about is the first 3. And then it's probably a good idea just to let them know there is a card program, which excites some people, excited me, that's for sure. And then you can explain the 3 different business promotional packs, okay? So if you want to get started in business, these are your options. And you'll explain the bronze, the silver, and the gold, okay? We don't need to go into all the details of that. You know them already, and if you don't, the information is there. There's caps on how much you can make, and there's a percentage that you make in the dual team. There's certainly value in having more product, because if you don't have product or inventory, you can't sell it. And when somebody wants to buy the product and it's gone, and you tell them, well, it'll take 7 to 10 days to get it, usually the sale's over. So in any case, we always point toward the gold, because that is the one that has the greatest features and the greatest return to provide you on your investment. And that basically goes through the whole presentation. Now what you want to do is you essentially want to summarize the 3 fundamentals of this business, okay? So we've gone through the introduction presentation, show the plan. What we're doing now is we are closing, right? So this moves us into number 3. How do we close? Okay? What we're going to do is summarize. Number 1 is this business is all based on or presented by pressing play in a video, hot water, and number 3, we want to just share the success with stories. Okay? So you can point out to them, I basically am performing one of the most important part of our businesses, and I'm sharing with you information that all I had to do was press play in a video and pour hot water to give you some samples, and here's some success stories. All right? So once you've gone through that, then essentially what you want to do is find out what their level of interest is. Is their level of interest a 1? Is their level of interest a 10? Or is it somewhere in between? Okay. What is it that we have to do to get you from an 8 to a 10? Why is it only a 3? So when you find out what their interest level is, you say, what do you think? You're ready to do business with us. You're ready to join us. You're ready to be your own boss. You're ready to have your own business, but not by yourself with us, right? In business for yourself, not by yourself. And so basically that concludes the Coffee Jazz Mixer, and you find out. And some of them may say, well, I got to think about it. Well, that's perfect. We have the Think About It kit. It's called a black and a latte. So let's get you to purchase this tonight. Take it home to your family, consume it, see how you feel about it. And while you're drinking our coffee, then you can think about it. Somebody might say, well, I got to talk to the wife. You always have to make your business decisions with your wife. A lot of people own their own business and make business decisions. That's not always necessarily, So sometimes there'll be excuses, and that's okay. We can let those go, but they must, leave with some coffee. If they're actually thinking about the business, they absolutely got to consume the product. And you never know. You'll probably find people who are in one way, shape, or form ready to do business with you. So that basically concludes the 3 areas of the Coffee Jazz Mixer. Okay, and we talked about, first of all, booking your Coffee Jazz Mixer. And we also talked about the setup, okay? So as you review your notes, that's something that we reviewed. Number 1, the first thing that we wanted to address in the Coffee Jazz Mixer was the introduction and the presentation, okay? And you'll remember that the introduction and the presentation, first was the host, and then was the guest presenter, okay? And then the second thing is we wanted to show the plan. We went through those details. And the third was to close the room, right? Now, I talked about adding a 4th topic briefly, and we'll go through this right now. And number 4 is the evolution of the Coffee Jazz Mixer. Okay, so write that down. The evolution of the Coffee Jazz Mixer. What is the evolution of the Coffee Jazz Mixer? Well, when I started my first Coffee Jazz Mixer, this was me, Dave, and when I had my Coffee Jazz Mixer, I did find an individual who wanted to hold their own Coffee Jazz Mixers, who wanted to join the business. And that person's name, let's say that their name was Mike. Okay? So what happens? Well, we've got Dave plus Mike that holds the Coffee Jazz Mixer together. And Mike is a little bit nervous, and Mike doesn't know too much about the business, but Mike is pretty excited, and if Mike doesn't have a cup of coffee, he may pass out on the floor. So Mike says, I'm really excited about this coffee business I just started, healthy, gourmet. I really don't know a whole lot about it, so I just want to thank Dave for sharing this opportunity with me. And here's what I know about what I do. I work by the hour, and I don't feel like I'm getting ahead. And when I saw this opportunity, not only did I love the product, and not only did my heartburn go away, but I also saw an income opportunity. So that's pretty much all I can tell you, folks. I'm going to let Dave take over. So Dave basically runs the rest of the Coffee Jazz Mixer. And there's some products that are sold to number 1, and he's going to take care of it. And then Dave's going to take care of the 2s and the 3s. And what happens is that from Mike's Coffee Jazz Mixer, that he finds somebody by the name of Sue. And Sue joins the business. And so now what happens is you have Dave plus Mike plus Sue showing up to Sue's Coffee Jazz Mixer. And Sue does the same thing. I don't know a whole lot about this. I'm really excited about it. I really like to thank Mike for introducing me to this business opportunity. And Mike tells his story. And then what happens is that he says, can everybody press play? Can everybody pour hot water? That's all we're going to do. We're looking for 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to press play in the video. And now Dave is going to be the one who starts to close the room after the video. Remember Mike said there was a 1, 2, and a 3? Do you have some questions that I might be able to answer for you? Sue takes care of the number 1s, and the number 2s and 3s are taken care of by Mike and Dave. They explain, they show the plan. So from that Coffee Jazz Mixer, what happens is that Bob is there, and Bob decides, I want to do this business, and he books a coffee jazz mixer, and now we have Dave, and we have Mike, and we have Sue, and we have Bob. We have 4 people that are there at the coffee jazz mixer. So if you got 5 to 8 guests, now you just increase that by 4 people there, and there's a lot more excitement in the room. And so, what happens is Bob tells the same story. I'm really excited about this. I don't know too much about it, but I'd like to thank Sue for introducing me to the opportunity. And then Sue basically says, this is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to press play. We're going to pour hot water. There's going to be some questions. We're looking for 1, 2, and 3. Mike starts to close the room, and Dave basically doesn't say anything at this point. He's there just to handle the tougher questions that might stump these individuals. And so now from this coffee jazz mixer, we just found Kim. And Kim decides she wants to do a coffee jazz mixer. So guess who goes to Kim's house? Mike plus Sue plus Bob plus Kim. Where in the world is Dave? Dave is not there because this is a evolution or a cycle of coffee jazz mixers that last about 4 times. Remember we had said that network marketing is about creating a business that's independent from you. This doesn't go on forever. If it did, we'd have 20 people at the coffee jazz mixer. None of them would be guests. How much sense does that make? None. So what has happened is Dave has fallen off of the train of the evolution of the coffee jazz mixer, and now Mike has become the expert. And it won't be long before Sue becomes the expert, and as more people become involved in the business, that is the evolution. That's only one line. If Dave was ambitious, he would also have been doing his own coffee jazz mixers in addition to these ones for Mike and Sue and Bob and Kim, and he would have found another prospect in Tom. And he would also possibly be working with as up to, it's pretty hard to work with more than 3 lines, but you can do it. He'd be looking to work with another person, and it would be John. Right? So there could be 3 lines of business all starting to go through a revolving door, and this is how you build your coffee jazz mixes. This is what your purpose is. This is what your goal is, to make sure that you teach people, you train them well, you go through the steps of the coffee jazz mixer that I've just gone through with you, and then what happens is you have a business that's starting to grow on its own and earn for you, and not necessarily be the one that's always driving the business and the income and the sales. Because what's happening is that you have shared as a person with other people how this business works. That is the evolution of the coffee jazz mixer. So I think that's long enough time for us to spend together for now to talk about CJMs. I thank you very much for your time. I do hope and wish that you have much success in your organogold business. I do hope and wish that you share this information with other people. You can watch this video over and over again. And all the best, and looking forward to seeing each and every one of you real soon.